Hello friends! Today let's talk about that new or new to you camera and 5 things to do when you first receive it. I don't have a brand new camera to demonstrate with today, but the newest camera to me here in the lab is the Lumix S5 II. I'm going to show you everything on this camera, but all of these steps are applicable to any camera. The first thing I like to do is give the camera body itself a thorough inspection. Even if it's a brand new item, there can be problems during shipping. So I just make sure that there are no dents or scratches and that all of the doors, knobs, and dials work as expected. I just twist the knobs, open and close the doors, and make sure the battery looks good. I once received a brand new camera that had a piece of debris inside the viewfinder, and I had to send it back to be replaced. So check there too. I just mentioned the battery. Next, I like to become familiar with the battery and how it charges. Can you charge the camera via USB, or do you need to take the battery out of the camera and use a specific charger? I prefer to charge the battery up full before I use the camera. You may need to check your camera's manual to figure out how to charge the camera. It's always near the front of the manual, so it's easy to find. Once the battery is charged, I like to do a whole camera reset, whether the camera is new or used. Now, if you power your camera on and on the rear LCD screen it immediately has you set the date and the time, the reset is probably unnecessary. But if you purchased the camera used, the camera may have settings dialed in, and resetting it will allow you to start fresh. The S5 here has a menu option to reset, but some cameras have a 2-button reset where you press buttons on the body for a certain amount of time to reset the camera. This is another item to check in your camera's manual for. Then I become familiar with the lens mount so that I can start to gain muscle memory for that, particularly if the brand of camera is new to me or one that I just haven't used very often. Different manufacturers' lenses mount differently. So it's great to become familiar with how yours does from the moment that you start using the camera. You will almost always see dots on the lens and or the body for where to line up the lens on the body. But again, you can check your camera's manual. Let's talk about memory cards. Many cameras out there use SD cards. I'm glad that they do because SD cards are relatively inexpensive, and for those like me who have a few different brands and camera bodies back there, it's great to share SD cards between them. However, there's one thing that I want you to be careful of when it comes to memory and that latest camera that you now have. If you upgrade your camera, get a new one. Maybe your last camera's video capability maxed out at 1080p, and your newest mirrorless marvel has 4K 60 or even 8K video. Or maybe your camera will capture still photos at a very high burst rate. You can learn quickly and perhaps the hard way that a card designed for cameras just a few years old may not help you to take advantage of some of the newest features, like increasingly high resolution video or a higher frame rate for stills. Whether your camera uses an SD card or another type of card, the manual or the camera manufacturer's website will have the card specifications so that you can consider which one that you need to use and purchasing a new memory card if you need to. And I have a bonus item for you. Take pictures. Even if you don't have everything set up the way you want to quite yet, even if you are only capturing photos of your home office and you're going to delete the photos later, there's nothing like taking a new camera out for a test run, starting to get to know it by having it in your hands, by taking pictures with it, and then seeing what you get. A couple of notes before we wrap this up. I mentioned the manual a couple of times. I recommend reading it. Like, go through it page by page with your camera in your hand so that you can understand all of the options. Of course, you don't have to read the manual cover to cover before you take pictures with your new camera, but make some time because you might find some real gems in there that will save you time or will teach you things that you did not even realize that the camera can do. That being said, I do have a video coming soon where I dive into the settings, the menu options, the buttons and dials on your camera. I'll discuss the things that I recommend understanding about the camera and even things to customize so that you can make your camera your own. Okay, those are my steps to get started. If you found this helpful or you just made it all the way to the end of the video, give me a like. Subscribing and liking videos is incredibly helpful for the channel and they're free. And I'd love to hear from you in the comments section. Let the rest of us know. Do you do anything different from me when you first receive a new camera? I always keep up with the comments for at least a couple of days after my videos go live, but viewers will be reading these comments for years. So help them out with your advice. I'll see you in the next video, and thank you for watching.